time to shine. Shine bright, be the star you are, yeah.
Hi, Kuya Ed!
Ate Mick!
Happy Thursday evening.
Oh, it's
Pareho
only
tayong nasa
Thursday.
bahay tonight kasi special ang ating episode tonight, di ba?
Bakit ka blurry?
Blurry? Hindi
Yeah,
nga.
blurred lines. Medyo, ayun.
Parang si Robin Thicke yan.
Ayan.
Blurred lines.
Pakita mo yung kagandahan mo.
Ayan.
Lady in red
Kita
pa.
naman, di ba?
Terno pa sa lips. Talaga naman.
Of course, syempre kailangan matchy-matchy palagi.
Oo. O bakit tayo
Diba?
dalawa lang? Nasa si Kuya Arvin.
Oo nga, nawala.
Kanina, siya unang-una eh.
Nag-disappearing act na naman siya.
Ganon. Toast muna tayo, malamig. It's very hot today.
Oo nga, ang init. Grabe.
Avocado
kanina.
shake.
Avocado shake.
Yes. Diba?
So, ready ka na ba makipag-shake?
Yes,
Shake your whatever. Sa ating mga panauhin, di ba? O, Tagalog
Yes.
na Tagalog yan. Yeah, kasi itong mga guests natin for tonight, kilala mo silang lahat, di ba, Kuya
Ako
Ed?
na naman. Ba't puro na lang ako?
Oo,
Kilala ko rin
kasi
sila.
kilala mo silang lahat. As in,
Alam mo naman ako,
nakatrabaho mo
laging
na sila, di ba?
I always know everybody.
Yes.
Kahit hindi ako kilala, no?
At dahil kilala ni Kuya Ed, ang lahat ng ating naging guest, halos lahat sa kanila kilala talaga niya. Hashtag live if you're watching live and hashtag replay if you're watching replay. And thank you to everyone who's watching. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and of course, Kumu. So thank you dun sa mga nanonood na galing ng Pilipinas, mga taga-Pilipinas. Hello to everyone. Happy
Pilipinas
Friday to everyone. Yeah. Friday dun ngayon, Kuya. So, umpisahan na ba natin? Our first guest, nako, exciting talaga. She has sung professionally and toured Asia and the Middle East since she was 18. Oh my goodness. And yeah, she actually migrated to Canada, to Vancouver, Canada in the late 90s. And she was a backup singer for Joey Albert. So we know, everyone knows who Joey Albert is, right? And she has been a regular backup singer for so many other artists, both in the US and in Canada for so many years. And she is now residing in LA. So we're very, very lucky to have her. And she has performed with the top Pinoy recording artists like Joey Albert, as we mentioned earlier, Martin Nievera, Jed Madela, Jaya, Violan, Geneva Cruz, Ariel Rivera, Erik Santos, and so many more.
Wow!
Shall we welcome her? So everybody,
let's go!
Hashtag Tina for Tina Cruz. Let's all give her clapping emojis.
Woohoo!
Wala tayong drum roll.
Kuya Arvin yun eh.
Hi, how
There
are
we
you
go.
doing?
Unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself.
There we go.
Yay!
There we
I'm
go.
here. Thank you.
Hi, so-
Thank you guys for having me. That was a great introduction. Maraming
Yeah.
salamat.
We have
Ang
some
lalaki niyo,
friends who
ako
are
din,
saying hi to
Kailangan lumaki rin
Gabriel
ang ulo ko.
Harris. Hi, Gabriel, and
great.
hi, Renee Rose Alegado Zambrano.
Yes, that's my sister-in-law watching in
Yes, and
Vancouver.
hi to all of Tina's relatives who are out there who are watching us.
Wow. Ang daming hatak nito, pati online, ano?
Yes. Sana
Mapa-live,
manood
mapa-online, ang dami.
yung mga nagda-live sessions, manood rin sila sa atin, o di ba?
I know. Because after this interview, I'm gonna be going on live on session. I'm
Oh,
gonna
wow.
be going live after. So,
Grabe.
isang ano na lang, isang preparation, isang
Yeah,
makeup,
and
isang bihis.
so we know like everyone's kind of nervous getting on our online show, but I just have like one quick question for you. What's your favorite food?
Oh my God. Favorite food?
Top 5.
Top 5 agad, oh.
Rice.
Oh, sa dami, syempre, no?
Rice is life.
Rice is life.
Yeah, madali lang yan. Rice is life, right?
Pinoy na Pinoy. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's number 1.
That's
That's
number one.
And I don't know, anything that goes with rice.
Yes,
Nako.
and I'm
Lechon.
sure
Lechon, paksiw na lechon, adobong baboy.
yes, and I'm sure our next guest also loves rice, di ba? Kasi rice is life. So our next panelist is a man of many, many, many hats. And he loves to sing songs in very familiar jazz grooves, and he has a lot of fun rearranging OPM classics, American standards, and pop tunes from his younger years. And he is one of the singers at Maricar and the 4700 band. But when he is not singing solo or with his band Gimik on stage, you can find him backstage as an event coordinator, producer, and show director. And jazz singer Mon David described him as a singer who delights in discovering the jazz grooves in all the tunes that he tackles. And he is an artist whose quest for musical knowledge is endless. Wow, so everybody, let's all welcome the one that they call direct, ALVIN REYES. So everybody hashtag ALVIN.
Direct.
Yay, yay, yay.
There we go.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi,
There we
ALVIN.
go.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Nice to see everyone.
And it's so true. You're a man of many, many, many hats.
Oh, here's one hat. Right
Like
here.
literally, right? So what's your favorite type of hat?
Oh, yeah. Narrow brim fedora is one of my favorite ones. Yeah.
Yes.
I use it for everything.
Yes, and that is so cool, right, Kuya? Kuya Ed?
Oh, idol ko yan eh. Kaya pati ko napapahat na rin eh.
Si Ed ang idol ko. Idol kaya si Ed. Great
Yeah.
music.
Idol natin siyang lahat, o di ba?
Oo.
And hi to Erik Baul who's watching out there. Hi, Erik.
Hi,
We'll see you
Erik.
soon.
EB. EB in the
Yes.
house.
He is
Congratulations.
in the house.
Congratulations.
Yes, and yeah, so Kuya, Kuya, are you okay over there? How's
Who, me?
Hobbiton
Huh?
over there? Ang liit kasi ni Kuya, lumapit ka.
Noong pa ako maliit eh.
Maliit si
Iba yung ano ko, iba yung camera ko eh. Pang zooming talaga ako, pang malayuan eh.
Yeah, and so okay, since Direct ALVIN is a man of many, many hats, right? Literally and figuratively. Like, what's your one favorite hobby?
Uy.
Golf. I like to play golf a lot.
Yes,
I
and
play
what
golf.
kind of hat do you wear when you're golfing?
Pretty much the same one that I use every day.
A fedora?
Yeah, but more of a paper or a straw. So it's lighter, you know. This is more for evening or more for performance. Since it's like a felt, so it's too hot to use for at a golf course.
That is so awesome. And our next guest, so the next guest that I'm going to call in is another one who has many, many hats, but a different kind of hat, right? because she has traveled extensively throughout Southeast Asia and the Middle East, and she has been performing with her band in Singapore, Indonesia, Japan, Malaysia, Oman, and Dubai. And in the US, she continued to sing in several venues all over Los Angeles, and she has performed with the Filipino-American Symphony Orchestra Chorale and the orchestra itself. And she has also competed at the 8th Annual Jazz Phil USA Talent Showcase and placed first runner-up in the vocal division. Oh my goodness, let's all welcome Miss Charmy Morales. So everybody hashtag Charmy.
Hi, everybody.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Hi,
Good
Charmy.
evening. Hello. How are
hello,
you?
Sizzy number 2.
I know.
It's good to have you on our show.
Thank you for having me. Yes, it's a pleasure.
That is so awesome. And so I know for a fact that Charmy is an 80s girl. Like she
Oh
loves
my
all the
gosh.
bands that I love.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So what's your favorite, like ultimate favorite new wave 80s band?
Oh, it's a toss-up between Duran Duran or Tears for Fears.
Oh my
Sila talaga.
goodness. Don't we all just love Duran Duran and
Yes,
Tears for Fears?
I never get tired of them. They're just my ultimate, talagang my ultimate favorites.
Why not Blondie?
No.
80s yun eh. O, di ba?
but
80s eh.
Doon ako sa mga boys.
Medyo ibang kuya, medyo
Yeah.
iba yun eh.
80s eh.
British
Iba
tayo.
genre yun.
Parang may
Why not
message
Tina
si
Easton?
Charmy. Parang may message si Charmy dun eh. Take on me.
Take
Uy,
on
aha
me.
naman yun eh.
Galing
Yes.
aha pa.
We've seen them before too. Mhm.
Speaking of aha, talagang mapapa-aha kayo dahil the next guest that I'm calling in, oh my gosh, he has been a lead singer for every single band you can think of in LA,
Aha.
right? Right?
Aha.
So our next panelist was born in Laguna, Philippines, and he has joined various singing competitions back home in the Philippines and here in America since the age of 5. Can you believe that? And he joined so many like the Bulilit Bagong Kampiyon, Star Search USA, and he was the grand finalist of Pinoy Pop USA and a fourth placer at Kumu Kuya Grand Singer. And he is a graduate of the Center of Pop Music Philippines, and he has been a male vocalist of several Phil-Am bands such as Metro 6 Band, 6162 Live, Musically, Optimum Groove, Tone 6, and Retro Force Band. Can you bet? Like, yeah, I was thinking 5, but that's like 6.
Talagang mapapa-aha.
Yeah. And
6.
yeah, so everybody, you'll catch him opening for Pinoy R&B King JR soon. So we'll ask him about that a little bit later on. So everybody, please welcome Zach Aquino. Zach or Z Box Aquino. Hashtag Zach, everybody. Hi, Zach. That's Zach.
Thank you. Wow. Salamat sa introduction and guys, hello sa
It's
mga
good to
viewers.
have you in our
everyone.
show again. He was like
Yeah.
one of the first people that we had on our jam sessions.
Mhm.
Yes,
Right?
I remember that. Yeah,
That
it
was
was
a fun
fun.
one.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure
That was
always.
a really fun one. So how is everybody doing on a Thursday night? No one has a gig apparently. You're
Yes.
gigging with us right now.
Effect ng COVID.
This is it. This is our gig tonight, right?
This is our gig.
Yes.
Oh my
Special.
gosh.
Special.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Yes, and speaking of which, like I'm just gonna ask you, like, what's your most memorable gig ever? Since we're talking about gigs.
Hmm.
Ooh.
For me, okay. I'll
Yeah,
start.
Go ahead.
Yung
Right.
the good side muna, the good side.
The good side.
The good side,
and then,
yes.
and then we'll work our way down, right?
I think the most memorable for me is when I did a gig with Nina, the famous soul, singer in the Philippines. So that was a big production, great musical director. So, we really enjoyed the audience as well as the band. Mahuhusay yung kasama kong musicians that time. Tsaka mga singers din. So, it's really an honor to meet Nina. She's really down to earth and friendly. Kaya, I love working with the artists sa Philippines kasi, you never expect, ganon sila, very open sa mga sa mga Filipinos here sa America.
Yeah, Nina.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And how about you, Charmy? You look like you're ready to answer.
I'm not. I have to think about it. But
Hmm.
okay, I think one of the gigs that really stand out for me was way back in the 1990s when I was in Dubai, when we were performing for the American servicemen. Because I was in what was that? They were in the Gulf War. There you go. So karamihan sa kanila, they were homesick and all that. And we had this show that was held outdoors. And just seeing all of them that's just having fun. And, we were able to, give them a little bit of happiness in that, for that night. I think that for me was, that made me happy. That made my heart happy, because they didn't know what was going to happen. At that time, Saddam Hussein was throwing Scud missiles across Saudi Arabia, and even on the hotel that we were at was like right across the Air Force base. So we were always, scared that a Scud missile might just, matamaan kami. So just seeing them happy, I think really made our night. So that I'm so I will always remember that evening.
That is so awesome. And I'm sure Direct Alvin has had so many memorable gigs or concerts. So can you give us one memorable event or memorable moment that you had?
You mean with a band or?
With the band or
Yes.
as as a lead singer
Oh,
or
okay.
with the band?
Then I guess that'd be like from maybe 2 years ago on my birthday. I always have a gig on my birthday, so it's really nothing new. But 2 years ago, I had it. I was part of the show of Ray and Fuentes, so I was actually on the poster back to back with Ray and Fuentes. So I guess that was at the top of my head right now. That would be one of the coolest gigs. Not only because it was Ray and Fuentes, which is I was honored, to also do backup for him. Charmy and Tina were there as well. But at the same time, that was the first time I was able to actually perform my OPM songs in jazz groups. So, yeah, we had. I remember I started with Kay Ganda ng Ating Musika, and it turned out into an Afro-Cuban feel and groove. So
wow.
that was one thing I really enjoyed. And then I followed it up with the Louis Campos song Kahit Isang Saglit, and that one was more of a kind of like a rumba bolero type of feel. So it was very exciting for me because that was the first time I actually performed in public. So
That is so cool. I'd like to hear those songs if you
Sure,
could.
yeah.
If you could play them
okay.
on your upcoming birthday show.
September
Putting
19th.
some-
Yeah,
putting
and don't
some
forget
tunes
at the
together.
Noy Pits in downtown LA, Direct Alvin is having a birthday show, and we're all going.
Yeah, that's cool. I
Yes.
got a lot of really good songs.
35.
No, I'm turning 49. for the 11th time. 29 years old for the 11th time.
I have to do the math on that.
That'll be 60.
And how about you, Tina? What was your most memorable moment?
Oh, I have so many, but I think one particular one that I remember quite clearly up until today is when Joey, I think it was around Joey Albert, did her very first concert in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and that's in Canada. That's in the Midwest. And actually, Winnipeg is a sleepy city, but there's so many Filipinos there. They even have a strip mall of Filipino stores, restaurants, businesses, and they have their own Filipino radio show. So I think Joey was the very first artist that performed, that did a concert there. This was in early 2000s, I think. And oh my God, just seeing the Filipinos react to when Joey came out on stage and started performing, they were crying kasi siguro na-miss talaga nila yung, the OPM songs in the Philippines. And even after the show, it was just so, it was really heartwarming to see all the Filipinos and how they embrace Joey and us, including us, even though we were just backup singers. But that was very memorable. And then we did an early morning Filipino radio show, and I'm like, what? They have their own radio show in the middle of nowhere. Filipino radio show. So yeah, that was one of the memorable shows that I did with her. Probably the most memorable one.
And you can definitely find Filipinos anywhere around the world, right?
Right. Yes, that's so true. That's so true. Like Charmy, I also did a lot of gigs in the Middle East. I also had my own band there and performed there. And we went as far as Pakistan, in Karachi. We were hired to perform at the U.S. Embassy there. And guess what? There were Filipinos there.
Yeah, they're probably from Mindanao, huh?
I don't know. But yeah, we're everywhere.
Yes.
Yep.
And
I thought Tina's most unforgettable gig was when she did a gig with me and Charmy. I thought that was it, but I was.
That's number two.
Oh,
That's always memorable.
yes.
yes. And
Here's one memorable one, if I may. I just thought of it right now. The first time I saw Zach, we were watching. I think I was with Maricar and her husband and my wife. We were watching at the Saban Theater, Lea Salonga and Patty Austin. So it's a back-to-back concert, and then it was Patty Austin's turn, and she asked for someone's birthday, but she wanted that person to sing a duet with her on stage. And then everybody in Zach's group says, "Oh, it's his birthday," So, and Joe and I go, "You think it's really his birthday?" But anyway, Zach went up there, and they did "How Do You Keep the Music Playing," and Zach killed it. And Patty also was like, "Wow, James Ingram, is that you?"
oh my God, that is so
That was
cool.
awesome. Bravo.
Sample.
Isang linya lang, isang linya.
Isang linya.
Isang linya lang. Isang bagsak.
Pressure, Zach.
Isang bagsak.
Yeah, the next thing that happened, he was a lead singer for another band.
Yeah. It started there.
yeah. So, that's cool.
And then 5
Amen.
other bands wanted to get him, right? And so he said yes to each and every one of those
I
bands.
know. I can't say no for some reason.
Oh my goodness. So did you ever think, when you guys were kids, did you ever think that you would be singers? What were you guys into when you were kids? Have you always been like singing? Were you always hogging the microphone when it's karaoke time? What were you like as kids?
Yes. I played a lot in the streets, the patintero, all that stuff. I was excited to get home from school so we can play patintero. I remember. And then the saltik, it wasn't really into singing as much until I got to, I guess, college, and I joined a choir, a Catholic choir, because I thought that was one good way to get myself to church. So if I sing in the choir, because some of the folks in the choir were from our barrio, our barangay, so they
That's
recruited
also-
me. Yeah,
Direct, that's also one good way to meet girls, right? Join
yeah,
the
that's true. I got to a girlfriend through.
And how about you, Tina, Zach, or Charmy?
For me, I was
Ako, I
really,
rem-
oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Ladies first. Go ahead.
Oh, ladies first. Okay. Well, I remember even when I was young, I would nagdidilig ako. So I would use the hose as my microphone. That's every afternoon I would be singing in the garden, and so that's my practice. I remember, I think as far as I can remember, I really loved singing even when I was still a kid. So that's how I started.
Pero walang tubig yung di ba?
Ah,
Nakapatay.
yung the thing about yung attachment pinapatay ko. And then pag may pause, binubuksan ko then magdidilig ulit ako.
Pag instrumental.
Yes.
Tina?
Yes, I've been singing since I was very little. I come from a musical family.
Yeah.
My mom is actually a singer too, and my dad is a musician as well. Was a musician. So music was always around in the house. But believe it or not, I didn't want to become a singer because I saw their lives and how busy they were, and they were hardly ever around because they were performing all the time. So yeah, so I was like, I don't think I want to be like them. So so that was my goal, and then I was like, I'm just gonna go study, finish, graduate university, and then do something else. But it was I couldn't avoid it. Because it was always there. They were always pushing me. You go sing. You go sing. You go sing. And then my mom started a karaoke bar in Davao, where I was born and raised, Davao City. And she probably was one of the first two karaoke places there in Davao. So ayun, so I would after school I would go there and hang out, and because it wasn't open yet, so I would just go and start singing karaoke. And then I would it's like a practice thing for me too. And maybe because I still love to sing, even though I didn't want to become a singer. So yeah, and then people started hearing me, started saying, "Hey, you should you should do this. You should join a band, join a contest, and all that stuff." So that was it. After that, the rest is
The rest is history.
History.
That is so awesome. And I know, Zach, you were singing when you were 5 years old,
Started.
right?
Yes. But there's a story too behind that. I was actually I love dancing, so I started as a dancer. I was choreographing sa school, sa mga teachers, sa mga classmates ko. So then later on yung pag-singing, merong contest sa school, singing contest. Yeah, around 5 and 6 something like that. Tapos guitar lang yung yung accompaniment. Tapos sabi ko sa mom ko, may contest, so I'm joining. So ayun, it turned out I did well. Kaya that's the time I realized I can sing. Tapos nagustuhan ng tao. So and then I started joining contests sa province, mga singing contests. Yon, kontesero ako nun. Pag fiesta, laging meron, lagi akong nagjo-join sa contest sa fiestas. Yan. So, yeah, it's a good learning din kasi, miski matalo ka, you have to still go and, pursue it. Kasi I love, nagustuhan ko yung pagkanta. So, yun. So, that's the most, important thing. Don't give up. Basta just keep going.
Yes.
That is so cool. And we all know that, let's say, for example, Tina, her parents were musicians and singers, right? So were there, for the rest of you, were there people who were most influential in your decision to become singers?
For me, in my family, on my father's side, my grandmother Ingracia, she played the piano beautifully, and my dad also played the piano. And as a matter of fact, he used to be an accompanist at ABS-CBN in the late '60s. So I wish, I remember as a kid, he would get piano teachers for us. And we were learning, but how I wish now, looking back, how I wish that tinuloy ko, how I wish I learned to play the piano so that, I could also play the piano while I'm singing, right?
Yes.
And then from my mother's side, my lola naman from my mother's side, she sings mga kundiman, mga opera, ganyan. So the instrumentalist part and the vocal part, parang nagsama. Para sayang I didn't get the instrumental part. Ang kaya ko lang is to play the tambourine. Hanggang tambourine lang ako.
Yung pinakamahirap sa lahat.
Mahirap
yung tambourine.
I know. Tsaka triangle.
So now everyone, she's a percussionist.
Ayan.
There you go, yeah.
Yes.
Yung may mga naghahanap ng percussionist, ayan, ganda pa, oh.
Oh, I would used to do that with Mary Welcome. I was her percussionist before too.
Oh, Mary.
And Alvin?
Influence? Okay, let me see. We have a couple of days to do this, or I'm just kidding. Let me see about maybe.
Let's start from the very beginning.
Yeah, because I got into the choir, but when I got to the States, like in the early 80s, I never really got into singing, except, karaoke parties and all that. I never actually went to a karaoke bar. But it was like maybe 15 years ago. I got hired to help out with the technical direction and stage management of this venue called the Promenade at Gano Excel, which was owned by Joven and Maricar. And then so that was my first time I was actually doing both technical direction and stage managing and PA, so it was like all around. But it was for almost like a coffee jazz lounge. So it was inside a warehouse, and then they had this wonderful silk trees. So you feel like you're in Brazil somewhere. That's how I looked at it. And Maricar has like a wide range of friends in the music industry. So through Michael Paulo, who was the sax man for Al Jarreau for 18 years, he started with Kalapana. So with that, Michael produces a lot of artists. So we got from Seawind, we have her, what was her name?
Pauline Wilson.
Pauline Wilson, okay. So we had Pauline Wilson, and then we had Denise Williams. We had Alan Paul from the Manhattan Transfer. And then a lot of other musicians. Patrice Rushen was there, Forget Me Not, And then so all of these wonderful singers, Kevin Letao directed her a couple of times. And then Joey Albert, that's first time I met Sharmi and Tina. They were backup for Joey Albert in that show, I remember. And then so all of these people singing, and then I was helping out, directing and producing and all of that stuff. So Maricar started this band, Maricar and the 4828. It had Tateng Katinding, Mike Gonzaga, So it was a really good, I would call a fusion band. You know, so and then they had Val Villar as one of the singers guests. You know, so I said, wow, they're really singing a lot of cool songs that I like. But it was not until Maricar formed another band, the 4700 band. That was about maybe 9 years ago. And that's when one of the singers couldn't do it. So she goes, Alvin, join the band. So it's like, I remember lip singing. So that was like the start of my singing career. I was lip syncing. And I was messing it up. I saw in the video. But and then I listened to Mon David. Mon David, the jazz, wonderful jazz singer. He's a wonderful friend now. He's now my compadre. So I listened to one of his records from Coming Through, and there's this song, Invitation. And the other one was from his other album, Skylark. So that's when he got me into straight ahead jazz, just by listening to him. And then so I said, wow, I think I can do this. You know, so if I'm going to sing, I'm going to do something like that. Not realizing, you know, I joined, you know, I was just baptized into the world of straight ahead jazz. And I immediately joined a talent contest, a singing contest, the third Phil Jazz vocal singing competition. I did terrible. I know, I remember I did terrible. But that was, I didn't give up, you know, so I said, okay, I'll do it again 2 more times. And that's when I realized that, you know, singing jazz particularly was so difficult because you actually have to know the actual chords. You have to be pitch perfect in a sense, because the musicians are the ones who will actually baptize you and say you're a jazz singer. So I think there's no one singer out there who can actually claim I am a jazz singer. You know, it's actually the musicians who will say, because most really good jazz singers are musicians themselves, because they really know where they're going with their work, with their skill level and all that. So it takes a lot of hard work and patience. So you could say I'm a late bloomer when it comes to my singing career. So I'm probably going on my 9th year now. But Maricar and the 4700, because of our regular gigs, I was able to apply all the different theories, the different workshops that I attended. I was able to apply all of that every time I go with the Maricar and 4700 band. Just like Mon was telling me, he says, you can study and learn how to swim. You know, you could do it on your bed and all that stuff, all the movements, but you cannot actually experience what swimming is all about until you actually go in the ocean.
Yes.
So that's what jazz is. And when you introduced me, you mentioned a couple of passages about my jazz learning experience. I call it my jazz journey. So now when I say it's a life journey, it's a jazz journey. For me, it's a musical thing. So that applies. Jazz applies to my life as well. So okay, I'm
That
just
is so
rambling.
awesome. that is so awesome. And I wanted to find out, since you started talking about like theories, you started talking about what singers do. So what kind of preparation do you do when you perform or go on stage as lead singers or backup singers for other artists as well?
Well, if you could do it every day, you want to always vocalize. You know, you always have to vocalize. You have to spend at least 30 minutes, 1 hour. I know Mon does more than 1 hour when he vocalizes, because when I call Mon David, you know, he's always busy. And then when he returns his call, he apologizes and he says, well, I'm working on a song. You know, it's kind of like, wow, this guy has won the Jazz World Vocal Competition. I mean, international book. And he's still working on his craft. And he keeps telling me, he's kind of like my mentor. He keeps telling me, especially in jazz, the learning process, it'll never end. You will learn jazz in your lifetime, and you still would only gotten a little bit of it. So you still continue your, you vocalize, you know, as much as you can. You take care of your vocal cords, you know, especially don't drink a lot of cold stuff. in the case of Maricar and the 4700 band, we get to actually talk before.
You have secret,
Yeah,
you
we
have secret pill.
yeah. So we kind of come up with a song list, a checklist, and then we always listen to it every time, because we don't really get a chance to actually rehearse. You know, just like other bands, they get a chance to rehearse, but the 47, we don't really get the chance to unless
We hardly ever.
unless it's an actual show. That's when we go to the studio and actually rehearse our harmonies and all this stuff. Other than that, we actually call each other, me, Tina, and Sharmi, because we do a lot of backups for a lot of artists. You know, Ariel Rivera, right? Martin, Nievera. And so we did a lot of that. And so we actually talk to each other. When we get a chance, we actually go see each other and practice our harmonies and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess when you say you have to prepare, it's just like any other job, you always have to be ready for it. You cannot be lackadaisical or something.
Yeah.
Do you actually have to like know how to read notes?
No.
No.
Not necessarily.
You have a good ear, I think.
We
Yeah.
do.
We don't.
Yeah. But it helps, of course, if you read
Yes.
notes. But I think a lot of singers actually don't read. Musicians, yes, but
Musicians.
singers,
Yes.
yeah. Unless you're a singer that went to university and majored in music and all that, then that's the only the only time
Yeah,
you learn
I think,
how to read.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, it's just all ear.
yeah. I remember when I actually asked Mon after the 2 failed attempts at the jazz contest. So I finally asked Mon. I said, "Can you help me to sing jazz?" And then he says, "Okay, so this is the first thing we'll do this weekend. Go with me to Christine Korb Trio. She's a singer and a bass player, upright bass. Christine Korb." And then she was performing somewhere in Laguna Beach. I forgot the name of the venue. So we watched it, right? So it was a wonderful experience for me. That was an actual first time I watched it straight ahead. And Christine Korb was doing a lot of things with James Brown's "Feel So Good," and it was really good. It turned into a Miles Davis piece. So it was wonderful. But anyway, the reason I mentioned that is because all the while it took us about almost 2 hours to get to Laguna Beach. So we watched the show another 2 hours. Mon was not saying anything. He was just concentrating on the music. He's with his eyes closed, And then when we finally got home, which is another 2 hours. So after 6 hours with this guy, so he said, "Did you learn anything?" I said, "You didn't teach me anything." But he said, "No, I wanted you to learn how to listen." See, that's the most important part. When you're getting into this industry, you need to be able to listen. Especially, he said, especially in jazz, because they have options to go out, once in a while. So you need to know where your center is always. You always need to know where you are. So he says that when the teacher, okay, I remember this. He says, when the student is ready to listen, the teacher will teach you. So that's my experience about it. So it helps if you know the actual chords, even just the basic music theory, especially if you're going to the jazz idea. But other than that, you just need to really have a good ear.
Yeah, because a lot of singers can also play an instrument, and if you have both, then of course you're
doubly blessed.
extra special.
Gifted, yes.
And I so agree, that it's so important, to better your craft. You really have to practice.
Yes,
You really have to practice.
Makes perfect.
Practice doesn't really make you perfect, but it makes you better.
Yeah.
And if you keep on practicing, you will always learn something new. And that has been. You should never stop learning. I think that's the bottom line. Never stop learning.
Yeah, let me add to what Sharmi said. The practice is not perfect, but it can also help you be more comfortable on stage.
It's like exercise,
Because
right?
the more you practice, the more you're familiar with your songs.
Yes.
The more you're familiar with what you're doing on stage. So the more you do that, Even Mon, I keep saying Mon because we talk almost every day. So Mon even reminds me. He says that when you actually do this, and when you practice like you're actually performing.
Yeah.
That way you get
Performance level.
Performance level. Thank you,
Yeah.
Charmy. That's the word. Yeah.
And did any one of you ever think about giving up or going into some other field aside from singing?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
There comes a point. Yep.
yeah.
All did.
Yep.
It doesn't
Yeah,
pay
and
the
then-
bills.
I stopped for 2 years. I stopped singing for 2 years after I ended up getting a day job when I moved to Canada, because in Vancouver, and I think most parts here in the US, unless you're in Las Vegas or New York or maybe here LA, there's really not much. It's not parang di ba sa Philippines, everywhere you go there's live music.
Mhm.
That's not the case here, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
we all had to switch to a different career in order
Right.
for us to have a day job. And I went back to school when in Vancouver, and I took a 1 year course, and then I ended up getting a job. And the first year or two, I was so overwhelmed with working a day job, because I never worked a day job before. I was working in the evening, singing 6 nights a week. So I was so overwhelmed that I quit. I had to quit singing for 2 years. And then actually, it's funny because the reason why I started singing back again is because I got the call from Joey, and that she's doing her first major concert in Vancouver, and she wanted me to sing backup. So it was like, it was like a good sign. It's like, okay, because I did really miss it. And I was like, okay, paano kaya ako babalik? How do I go back again? Or, because, you have to pretty much start all over again and have to network again and do all that stuff. And I was like, can I still sing? I don't think I can sing anymore. Because it's like Alvin said, if you don't practice, or Charmy said, if you don't practice, you lose it. So it's also like a muscle. Like when we exercise, we don't exercise, we don't gain muscles, right? So it's the same thing. So I was half and half. Sometimes should I do this? Should I not? Should I? But then, the opportunity came, and of course I couldn't say no. And then that was the start of me getting back into singing again. Pero yeah, 2 years I was so miserable.
So, given that your line of work can be very stressful, it's hectic, and there are late nights, right? There's a
Yeah.
lot of late nights.
Late nights.
How do you take care of yourself? And
Sleep
how do you manage stress and anxiety?
I know.
Actually, you
Oh
get
my
used to
gosh.
it eh. You get used to it, your
Yeah.
body, your mind. Parang hinahanap mo na yung level na, gusto mo mag-gig, you're comfortable staying up late. Kasi pag uwi mo, hindi ka pa agad makakatulog eh. You're still thinking, the gig was fun, di ba? Na-miss. Parang meron
The
ka pang
adrenaline.
aftershock. Adrenaline, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So, ganon yung parang relaxation namin yon. That's pag
Yeah.
nasa stage kami, if we're singing, the crowd is enjoying, that's our part na
Yeah.
we feel happy and relaxed talaga.
Yeah, in my experience, when you're doing a lot of pop tunes, like with the 4700 band, it was really you feel really good
Good.
when you actually go home and everybody was like still want you to play some more dance songs.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, because they
don't
still want to dance.
It's
Kasi
like,
walang
yeah,
dance.
yeah, it's kind of like our second and third. So
They don't stop.
yeah,
Exactly.
they don't stop. Yeah, it's like they think we're machines,
Yes.
No, but that's the blessing. I think that's why we don't get easily like tired, or because we're enjoying what we're
Enjoying,
doing. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
really like Charmy said. It's not like it's gonna feed the factory, but
It's work.
we're feeding our souls. That's
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
more fun. The
Exactly.
work is the preparation before the actual gig.
right.
That is so true. That is so
to do
true.
to do the rehearsals.
Yeah.
That's the work. Then
Work.
once you're on stage, it's no longer work.
It's
Right?
play.
Already
play.
Play.
Yeah.
But just like I sympathize with the musicians because after the singers like are leaving and we're saying okay, see you later, and then the musicians like Edwin, they're still putting stuff together, they're running the
Yeah.
cables, and
They're doing
people
the
like
work now.
Edwin, yeah,
Yeah.
and people, Edwin, he will say, the gig, we actually didn't get paid for the performance. We're getting paid to put the stuff away.
Yeah.
Exactly.
At least for us, we're just bringing our microphone and our sound. That's it.
BYOM.
Yes, yes.
Bring your
Bring your
Bring
own
your
mic. Yeah. Ako naman, I've always been a night owl, so I've the adrenaline again.
Me too.
5 o'clock in the morning, and I have
And
to
the-
be up at 7 o'clock.
And
It's
so
like,
Ted,
how am I doing this?
I think Mick, you're a night owl too, right? Or-
yes. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you noticed?
Yeah.
I think Alvin is too, and so I was like chatting with him like almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like,
Oh, that's true, right? Yeah.
Are you night owl too?
yeah, we're all night owls here, right?
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was up last night. I was putting together a technical script for a wedding I'm doing next week. That's why. So it's a very exciting wedding. I'm actually going to sing "Pangako Sa'yo" while the bride's walking the aisle.
Oh my
Very,
god.
very piano and string setup. So it's very exciting. It's really nice.
That is so cool. And so nowadays, like we're seeing a lot more Filipinos out there, right? In like so many different fields, like especially in entertainment, right? And how do we continue that momentum? Like what do we do as Filipino-Americans to, get more people out there and to get more Filipino-Americans supporting each other? Like what do you think we should do?
Well,
I think
go ahead. Sharon.
I think supporting one another,
Yeah.
musicians and singers supporting one another. I think that plays a big part.
Yes.
And always kindness counts. I really believe that. Dapat marunong kang makisama and enjoy the friendships. Enjoy the friendships that you develop along the way, and don't take anybody for granted.
Put your feet on the ground.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. And open more venues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get more people
Pay us
open
decent.
venues.
I was gonna say, because I think Mick's question was more of how do we get younger people to sing and be in the entertainment world, right? Is that right, Mick? That's what you
Yeah,
were.
or like how do we put more Filipino-Americans on the map?
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
in the singing contest. So let's vote for these people. The Filipino Americans, because that's really one way. The world knows now. Like I think it was. I remember what was that? I think it was Simon. I don't remember which show it was, but when they introduced this singer, I forgot her name, and Simon says, "Are you Filipino?" And she goes, "Yeah, I'm half Filipino." And then Simon go, "Oh, so I'm sure you can sing." So it's like those types of remarks that will help a lot of the younger generation. So the more we vote for these people, the more they're recognized. Then that's one way we can help the young generation get into the music industry.
Yes, and so when we watch shows, we have to buy tickets also, right?
Yes.
Supporting that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's part of
That's another
supporting each
part
other.
of-
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Also-
that always gives me comps anyway. So
Also, shows, that are happening, and just give the younger ones opportunity to like open for different artists. That's a great way.
Great way to.
Pros.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially younger up and coming artists.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good one. And one I can think of right now is also workshops.
Workshop.
So that-
Yes,
the senior members of the music industry, the Filipino-Americans, I think they should do a lot more workshops for the younger generation.
Sure.
Because
Yes.
that will really help.
Mhm.
You know, it's almost like getting a young kid to play junior golf. You know, so the parents always take them to lessons and all that stuff. You know, so I think that's what we can do as well. You know, I'm a senior, but I'm not as skilled as a lot of the veteran musicians and singers. So I think these people should actually do workshops. You know, so that will help a lot more people find themselves,
Right.
find their talent. Because sometimes it takes a push, you know, before someone can realize, hey, you're a good singer. You know, so
Mhm.
they're just shy, you know. So
Yes.
And what you're doing, Mick, is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the jam session that you do online, and
Mhm.
that's a great way to expose
Expose.
a lot of artists, Filipino-American artists. Yeah.
Plus the awards, right? You
Yes.
know, the upcoming awards.
oh yeah, happy anniversary, by the way.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Thank you.
First anniversary.
First anniversary. And speaking of which, you are all invited to come to our first anniversary party at the Noi Pits in downtown LA on Saturday, September 25th, starting at 6 p.m.
Speaking of
Wow.
supporting, ayan, support.
Party?
Support.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, and we have so many great artists like musicians, singers, magicians, comedians, and yeah, like so many like different artists are gonna be there.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's great.
That's nice. You know, the promotion should have had some music. Ed, you should have played some music while she's doing the promo.
Yeah. Keyboard.
Background music. I have a whole
Ang
band
ang
right
dami
here.
mo
What's
nang
up with that?
pinagagawa eh.
There
I
I go.
have
I'm
a whole
directing
band
again.
right here. What's up with that? We have
Teka, may
like
tanong ako.
5 seconds.
I have one question here. Since we're all in this industry, right? Lahat ba kayo may trabaho o this is your full time as a singers? Kasi sa
I do.
Pilipinas, pagka ganito, full time nila yun eh, no?
Yes.
What about you?
Well, yeah, I'm an independent event planner and coordinator, so a bulk of the income comes from that. So,
Yes.
yeah, so I actually do I MC, you know. So actually, I use the MC thing so I could sing, you know, because I tell them, I go, I can MC for you for this much, but I can also add 2 to 3 songs for free.
Right. Mhm.
But that's one way for me to try out my songs that I
Yes.
Yan, si Zach, parang bumalik lang sa corporate world yan, nakita ko.
Yes, actually I did. You know, I lost my job a year ago, you know, so, you know, it's tough. I did some businesses like selling, you know, I did DJ too on the side and MCing as well. So, and now I had an opportunity to come back sa corporate, you know, sa finance. So, you know, that's my ano kasi forte sa accounting. So, ayun, so I'm luckily I'm working at a pharmaceutical company, and you know it's kasi you know I'm lucky na I'm having gigs, pero you know what if suddenly nagkaroon ng pandemic ulit, you know, mawala itong mga I mean magkaroon tayo ng closure ulit, di ba, sa mga restaurants, sa mga parties, you know, so at least if I have work, I can work at home. I'm doing work at home at actually 2 days and then partly sa office. So yeah, tsaka you know the gigs, you know, they are like backup ko, you know, if I need, you know, extra money, you know. So
Right.
yeah.
So speaking of gigs, where can we find you next, Zach?
Ito,
Actually,
busy to eh.
actually marami kasi sa this Friday I'll be with Tone 6 band with Heidi and you know the rest of the Tone 6 at Gatsby, and then on the 18th I'll be at Noi Pits downtown LA with my band Metro 6. Yeah, so tapos coming 25th si JR, the R&B, you know, the famous R&B singer. I'll be doing a front act with together with Retro Force band. So ayun, that's for September. Yes, and October meron pa ulit Yan. So,
Wow, that's a lot.
So wala ka pala sa
You're
25th sa
busy.
amin.
sa 25th, oo, nagkasabay. So, I'm so sorry. I
Ka sa
wanna,
amin, ha?
oo nga. And then, I'm booked already until February next year. You know,
Oh,
for some,
Wow.
ang daming ahead
That is
of
so awesome.
bookings. Oo,
Great, congrats.
so I'm so
Congrats.
happy.
That's
and
what
blessed.
happens if you have 6 bands.
Yeah,
Right.
I think so.
So everybody start getting like joining other bands.
I know. So I'm on the 4700, my gimmick band, and I have to join BNP, Bits and Pieces. That's and then Edwin's band. That's 4. So I still need 2 more.
2 more.
We're gonna have a mixed band. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Ako naman, I started doing live streaming, and I think some of you do already here. I'm not sure. A few months ago, so I've been really lucky being able to do that from the comfort of my home. You can see my green screen here. It's called a platform called Sessions Live, and there's actually a lot of Filipino artists on this platform, just like Kumu. I haven't joined Kumu yet.
Almost great.
Kumu is good.
Yes, I've tried Kumo. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's fun. It's fun too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, I'm having fun on sessions. It's just purely music, so there's no gamings, or there's no other things that you have to do. So it's just mainly music. So I'm there. I try to do 2-3 times a week, and then whenever 4700 needs me, I'm there too. And of course, I also sing with Bits and Pieces, and that's how I got to dun ba tayo nag-meet, no? Meet sa,
Yeah.
yes,
At
that's correct.
Malu's concert. Yeah.
Malu's concert at the Viper Room, yeah. So we have a few corporate gigs coming up, but yeah, since since the pandemic, it's just slowly coming back in. So, but so far, check me out on Sessions Live / Tina Cruz, sessionslive.com/Tina Cruz.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm there 2-3 times a week, and I usually stream in the evening.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how about you, Sharmi?
Well, I remember when I started singing when I was 16, and up until I was 28 when I got married. And I thought at that time that's it. I thought I was already, that's it for my singing career. But so I'm very fortunate that, my husband, Ted, he still allows me to do what I love doing. So thank you, Ted. I'm so grateful. But in the meantime, besides the gigs, for the past 20 years, I've been working as an assistant, an instructional assistant for special ed. And so I work with kids, and I love it. So I have the best of both worlds. I'm working with kids, and at night, then I get to gig. So I'm just really, really thankful for the privilege of doing both. That's so close to my heart.
Perfect yung schedule mo, ha? Monday through Friday, ha?
Yes.
Kaya weekend, ha? Makakakanta ka.
You all have full schedules. And Alvin?
Well, of course, I'm coming up with the birthday gig. I'll be 60, and it's a very exciting gig because I think this is the first time I've actually, on my playlist or my song list, it's really more of songs that I've really thought hard and what I'm going to present it with. I'm very excited. We have a new arrangement for Macho Guapito. It's a very, very cool arrangement that Mike Consay and I came up with. And then a different version of, I'm excited to sing a very slow ballad of how do you keep the music playing, and all that stuff. And then I have some standards that I have that are not very popular, but these are really standard songs that really touch my heart. So one is Forgetful. I heard it from Chet Baker, and it's wonderful lyrics. It starts with lately you've been so forgetful. The kind of forgetfulness that just bothers me. So that's kind of like, those are the wonderful lines of the songs. I like to choose songs that when you actually look at the lyrics, you can apply it to your heart and your soul, and you say, it's like a piece of you. So that's why I'm excited with that gig. And then there's a couple of actually calls for the Gimik band. So in one of your popular venues there. So hopefully that will come through, and we'll have more gigs for Gimik while we're waiting for Maricar and the 4700 band too. I miss that band. I miss performing and singing with that band, because we actually have dancing. We have some choreography. So it's really like a show band with everyone.
Show band, yes.
Yeah, so
It's a
that's
big family. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see all of you live. And thank you so much for being on our show. And hopefully one of these days soon, we'll get you on the jam session show, right? So, we have 4 of you, so we'll do 4 shows.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking forward.
Count us in.
Yes. Sign us up.
And along with Zach's 6 bands, right?
Yes, exactly. Full band.
Once a
Full
week
band.
ito,
So we
once
get
a week.
6 shows, right?
Right.
But it will be lined up. Yes, we have content. Wonderful. And so thank you so much to all of our guests and to all of our viewers and all of your friends out there who are commenting and giving us clapping emojis and hearts and all of that
nag-aagawan
stuff.
kanina eh.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's saying hi and they're excited to see everyone here in the panel.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
And
guys for watching.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Yes, and
guys.
just to
Thank you
remind
so much.
everybody, like tomorrow, we have our very first brand new Jam Sessions episode. So this is the relaunch of Mick Diaz Presents for September, and we're starting with no other than pop singer, R&B
Gigi.
singer, Garth
Not-
Garcia, Gigi, another Gigi, Garth
Another
Garcia.
Gigi.
Yeah,
Garcia.
so this is something
Go,
that we all
Garth.
work hard
Yes.
on, and it's been almost a month, and Kuya Ed also helped a lot with this particular show, like the particular set of shows. There's going to be 5 of them coming up, and this is just the very first one. So tomorrow, Garth Garcia at 8 o'clock, Jam Sessions.
All right.
All
And of
right.
course,
Nice.
September 25th, don't forget, everybody, first anniversary of Mick Diaz Presents. We're going to have like so many artists, magicians, comedians out there in our show. And we have our first awards night, and we're also going to have raffles. Yes, a lot
Nice.
of like,
And Alvin's birthday gig. We'll
Yes.
be seeing
yes.
Alvin.
Yes.
September 19th.
Yes.
And all of us here are going to be on your gig, on your birthday show.
Great. That's great. So I promise
So
the second
excited.
song will be Ang Himig Natin.
Yay!
Yan.
That's my new favorite song, and thank you so much, Mr. Alvin Reyes, for
You're
turning
most
me on to a very old song. It's as old as me. That song came out the year I was born.
Nice.
So yeah, so when you told me about it, like I've never heard of it, but I heard your version first, and it turned me on to the original version. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And this is why we love what we do, right? We
Yes.
discover, we explore and discover, and we learn so many things together.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and good night, everyone.
Good night,
Thank you,
Pahabol,
Mick.
pahabol,
Thank you.
pahabol.
Okay. Kakanta daw si Kuya Ed. Sino gusto
Single
mag-
ka pa raw ba?
Follow-up question.
Single ka pa raw ba, Sir Alvin?
Ako?
Oo.
Well, right now I am. But
Oh, ayan, oh.
hindi ako mamaya.
Ituloy na natin doon sa tatlo. Sino pa single? Single or taken?
Oh,
Taken.
very much taken.
I've been,
Sorry, wala na. Si Charmy taken na.
I've been married to the same woman for 37 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Wow.
I'm
yes.
also married to a musician and a songwriter and music producer. And that's why we're here in Los Angeles.
Yes.
It's the perfect place to be, right?
Right.
Right.
Yes. And then thank you so much, everyone, for
Thank you all.
watching. And we'll see you all again tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Don't forget
Yeah.
Garth Garcia at 8 o'clock.
Yay.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much for having
Bye.
us.
Bye,
Good
guys.
night,
you.
everyone.
All right.
Good night. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey everybody, it's Garth Garcia, and congratulations to Mick Diaz Presents for your 1-year anniversary and your relaunch. And of course, please catch Mick Diaz Presents Jam Sessions. I am part of that. And we also have a show on December 18th.